All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I just recently received a text from my brother Daryl, who's a truck driver out on the road. It keeps me informed and abreast of some of the things that are going on here in this wicked world we find ourselves in. So I'm just now getting to this article like you are. And let's get into this and see exactly what it says, all right? Now, what I'm reading here is the headlines. It says this: police seize 10 children from off-grid homeschool family. Oh, boy. Whew, before I actually get into this article, we need to ask ourselves a question. I don't care what job you have. How would you like it if somebody came and seized your children from your house? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Again, regardless of what people say, this is about jurisdiction. Listen to what I'm saying. I know that many of you people just want to poo-poo and just throw out knowledge. But this is about jurisdiction. You see, if your child was not, or if your child didn't belong to the state, i.e. by marriage license, birth certificate, a social security card, and all that old other stuff, then the state would not have any jurisdiction over the children. I'm not saying that this is what's happening right here, but we can see that this country is out of touch, especially even though, when are people going to say, you know what, even this job, that is an unlawful order and enough is enough? Who gives a damn what they write on these books and say it's the law, it's the law, it's the law? Who determines what is lawful and what is not lawful? Because, man, I'm telling you, I know people that if you try to come and so-called seize their children and stuff, police or not, you may die that day. And your badge, your gun, your uniform is not going to protect you. And I know people all across this land that has those sentiments like that. And they are willing to go and meet their maker because they believe within their heart that they're in good standing with him. But, this thing is off the chain. Can you imagine a family, children being taken away from them because they live off-grid? But let's get into this article right here and find out exactly what's really, truly going on, all right? Again, it's first time me reading it, too. All right. Police seized 10 children from an off-grid homeschool family in Kentucky on Wednesday after receiving an anonymous tip about the family's traditional lifestyle. Now, here we go. Anonymous tip. In other words, your neighbors are squawking on you for some reason, and probably because they do not either, number one, like your religion, because you're not like the culture around them, or simply they just don't like who you are, period. What a world. What a world. And notice, all these anonymous people are always protected. Protected. Let's see what's going on. The nightmare story began when sheriff's officers set up a blockade around Joe and Nicole Nugler's rural property before entering the premises. 8 of the kids were out with their father, but Nicole and 2 of her oldest children were at home. Nicole attempted to drive away, but was subsequently stopped and arrested for resisting. Now here it is, i.e., quote unquote, attempting to prevent officers from taking her 2 boys away. So let me see. We live in a world now that even though somebody has a badge and a uniform, and if they come and try to take your children away from you, now you are charged with resisting arrest. What in the hell is going on with this world? Tell me the devil is not loose. Tell me the devil ain't loose. The sheriff then demanded that Joe Nugler turn over the other 8 children by 10 a.m. Man, this sounds like a heist, don't it? Sounds like a standoff. The next day, or face felony charges, an order with which he complied. Wow. Now they're under duress to face felony charges if they choose not to turn over. Look, this is how Americans believe in their mind. You believe that your children belong to you. I'm so glad my children are grown. I'm serious, because they can't use that temptation to get my spirit all stirred up and everything and make me personally want to do something to somebody. I don't care what, I'm telling you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that my personal children are grown, and I have a lot of children I'm concerned about. But I tell you what, to get tied up with this system is a bad thing. It's a bad thing. You want to opt out. I'm telling you now, you want to educate yourself and opt out, because notice everything is about the children. They're trying to force people to comply to their unlawful laws in this system of corruption that we find ourselves in, simply because you choose to homeschool your children and live independent of all the cultist religions out there, especially called Christianity, because they don't want their children. I don't know what they want or not, but it's just a sad thing. I wish they would like to try to come and take my children, 28 and 25 years old. Boy, they definitely gonna get a mouthful. They got a mouthful then, they get a mouthful now. Let's see what happens right here. So they're under forced coercion and duress right now. They are an extremely happy family, said family friend Peace Ellsworth, who asserts that the Nugglers were targeted because of their back to basics life. I mean, this is this man's family, and because he chooses to not live the way society in this country tells you to live, all of a sudden he doesn't have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So therefore he has no constitutional rights. I'm telling you, it's about jurisdiction. I hope you people are really truly listening to me. I really truly are. Let me see what so the issue is, you got some neighbors that do not like their back to basics lifestyle. What business is it of yours anyway? Friends reported no concerns about how the children were being treated by the parents, who follow an educational model called unschooling, where the children decide their own curriculum based on the subjects that interest them and what their strengths are. I personally think that you have a right to raise your child any way you want. Man, sure does make me glad everybody in the ministry here, everybody in the ministry has a certifiable homeschool curriculum, though, because this is ridiculous. But let me get back here. This is the natural way to live, says Ellsworth. It's actually a growing movement, and it is, because there's a community no more than maybe, I don't know what, a mile, 2 miles as the crow fly up the road up here, and they off grid. And if you went by and you had no idea what the Constitution said, and you look at the way these people live and stuff, you definitely, if you're nosy, you definitely want to have some input on their lives, even though you're not going to dig into your back pocket with all your concerns to help fund their lifestyle. No, I'm of the mindset that you have the right as a free man and free woman that's providing if you are free, and you're quickly finding out you are not free. I keep trying to tell you, everybody's on the plantation now. But if you are a free man and free woman, you have a right for life, liberty, and a pursuit of happiness any way you see fit. But anyway, the natural rule is a growing movement. They want to have a personal education and not a factory education. Yeah, you mean factory federal screw curriculum, to where everybody is trained and not educated how to function in the New World Order society. Oh, I get it. They are completely open about their life. Everyone is learning by living. They are all extremely intelligent. Now, that I truly believe. The family's Facebook page that entitled My Blessed Little Homestead is a charming testament to their way of life. The Nugglers' children are obviously living a blissful, range-free lifestyle among 26 acres of land in Breckinridge County. Now, I may not be pronouncing their name right, all right? So just bear with me. They frequently post pictures and videos of their children, animals, and their off-the-grid life. Reports of off-the-grid news. A May 5th post showed a video of a toddler, Mosiah, learning to walk. On April 24th, post showed a happy family gathering around a campfire roasting marshmallows. The family have a set up GoFundMe page and try to raise money for their legal expenses. Wow. This is just sickening and sad. A website for the family spells that their plight with the heart-wrenching words, this Kentucky family of 12, 6 dogs, 2 farm cats, and a few random farm animals was just torn apart. Their crime, here's the crime, living a simple, back-to-basics life. You people still think you in the home of the free and land of the brave? It's tyranny. That's what this is. This shocking story once again illustrates how families attempting to simply get on with their lives in a traditional manner are being treated as extremists by other Americans, snitched on and targeted by authorities. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to understand, the system does not want, the New World Order system does not want you and I to opt out of it. You know, in the book of Revelation, it talks about this beast system. And this beast has got to keep track of all human beings on the face of planet Earth because it's after the souls of men. And they don't want to lose any of them. And I'm telling you, this is heart-wrenching. This is bad. Now, see, if there ever was a time that the militia need to come out, this is it. But how would they know? Since you got this neighbor so-called snitching on somebody that hadn't even broke one law. Wow. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, the WND report highlights how parents were interrogated by a CPS caseworker who questioned Christopher Zimmerman and his wife Nicole on everything from their son's homeschool education to questions about vaccines, and guns in the house. Ooh. Well, in Kentucky, you can have all kind of guns in the house. You sure can. Also in Kentucky, because I'm familiar somewhat with Kentucky and Tennessee laws, it's not against the law for children to receive vaccines. I'll say it again. I remember a few years ago, there was an article that came out, and that article went like this. And what they were doing, and I'm going to give you the shortened form of it. They were doing a case study on autism, or people that have autism, okay? And this was the discovery. Probably now, I think it's like 1 in every 12 or 1 in every whatever it is. The numbers are shocking. Children are autistic in this society. But when they went to these Amish and Mennonite who don't believe in vaccinations, now key, watch this. The Amish and Mennonites who live in an off-the-grid lifestyle as well, they have no electricity. Pay attention to that. They have no modern-day conveniences. Pay attention to that. And they definitely live off the grid. So, and they school their own children as well. Pay attention to that. And they dress strangely. All the women dress in dresses and the men are covered from head to toe. Pay attention to that. And yet and still, you do not see the government going and raiding the Amish and Mennonite communities. Now, you need to ask yourself why. That's because some time ago in the 30s and 40s, their elders went to the government and said, you know what? We opting out. We don't want nothing to do with y'all, and neither do we want any problems. We don't want your social security number. We don't want your vaccines. We don't want your schooling system. We don't want none of this. You leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. And pretty much they live a quiet, peaceful life without the threat of tyranny against or a governing official against them. Now think about that for a second. What's the difference between the Amish and Mennonite and this family right here? And I got two things going. Let me go back and finish this thing, all right? About the vaccines. Well, anyway, they discovered that not one Amish or Mennonite family child had autism. I wonder why. You see, because many people, like myself, who they call conspiracy theorists, it's amazing when the theory becomes fact over time, isn't it? Seems like we're shouting to the rooftop for no reason at all, don't it? But think about this for a second. Could it be that the reason why the Amish and Mennonite do not experience autism in their children is because they do not accept the vaccines that are being admitted to these babies every time they go into these hospitals? I think that it is. Matter of fact, I think there's a direct link, and there's plenty of studies that prove and say so itself. You have to understand the powers that be wants a drooling, dumbed down, idiot, low IQ society because it's easy to control a population that has been trained and manipulated as opposed to one that is educated and informed. And they don't want people out there educated and informed. And it's a sad situation. But you know, we need to think about this. Why is it that the system are not going after Amish and Mennonite? Because Kentucky is riddled. It is full of Amish and Mennonite cultures and families and communities. And I mean all over the place. Why come the people, or how come the people in Kentucky, why is it that they're not calling the authorities on these people? And if they did, why would the authorities laugh at it? And why would authorities not even think about investigating? I submit to you, it has to do with jurisdiction. It starts with the marriage license. It starts with contractor and enter into a third-party contractual agreement with the state, the government. And then from there, then you go and you sign these birth certificates, in which that is another contract, which the service and conditions or the terms and conditions of that contract is not disclosed to you. And so anytime that you have one of these uninformed, snitched, GMO modified, pesticide, herbicides, chemtrail induced people begin to turn around and have so-called concerns for or sticking their nose in your business, all of a sudden you notice how much force the government comes out with, and we got to investigate everything because these people are a menace to society. These people are a threat to our American way of life, and we got to do something about these terrorists. Don't tell me who the terrorists are. I know who the terrorists are. I keep telling you. Are you starting to wake up? Are you people starting to find out real true? Are you starting to listen to really truly find out who the terrorists are and who are not, who your children really truly belong to and who they don't belong to? I submit to you that the reason why they don't go to the Amish and Mennonites is because they have no legal jurisdiction. Now, that doesn't mean because they're unlawful anyway. They're lawless. They don't care nothing about laws. That doesn't mean that they cannot go in their communities gun blazing and doing whatever the hell they want, because I'm sure they'll do that too. But in time, it's coming though, because the beast system will cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive them all. And now these people are going to be in what you call a forced compliance. It's a sad situation. Let me try to finish this. But it's amazing how vaccines and guns in the house is always the issue. Isn't that something? Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Arkansas, Texas. When you start dealing with southern states like that, almost every single home, especially if they live in the country, not only do they have guns in the house, but they have literally almost every home has arsenals. I mean, that's the way they would put it. Pretty soon they're going to start labeling us vigilantes because we want to start making laws on our own. And of course, these people don't even obey the laws that they passed themselves. This is sickening. This is sickening. Michelle Marchese aggressively demanded to enter the property after asserting Christopher Zimmerman Jr. was not getting a proper education. Well, there's not one Amish or Mennonite child that ever gets educated past the 8th grade. Why don't you CPS workers go storm their communities? Police subsequently arrived and allowed Marchese to enter the home before conducting a warrantless search. Notice, warrantless search. In other words, listen to me, people out there. If these CPS workers, I don't care if they do come with a sheriff, patrol, all this, if they do not have a warrant signed by the judge, they have no jurisdiction to enter your premises or your property. Do you people understand? You see, the reason why you're destroyed and you let people on your land, you let people do whatever they want because you're ignorant of the law. It's just a sad situation there. The Zimmermans are now suing the CPS for $60 million in a case before the U.S. District Court in Trenton. I agree. I hope they get every penny of 60 million and many, many more. And maybe this will stop all of this rogue cowboy antics that the CPS and the police departments are using against family who choose to raise their children, their family, the way they want to. They have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's a sad situation. It's the sad things that are going on in this world today. It really, truly is. Man, I tell you, how times have changed, huh? How times have truly changed. Can you imagine us even having a discussion about this 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago? I submit to you the advent of 9/11, these Twin Towers, allegedly, so-called terrorist attacks, that really started the undoing of the American people because, I mean, after all, you got a people who just want to be entertained. And that's it. And if all they want to do is be entertained, they don't care about what's going on. So more and more people are turning to alternative news sources to get the facts, huh? You know what? Y'all do me a favor. And do a favor for not only yourselves, but this family right here. Let this video go viral. Put this thing on Google+. I got this, I see it comes from, let me see, this articles by Paul Joseph Watson of InfoWars. And there's people already talking about it, but I guarantee it's not going to get the media attention. But if you hear this video and you start sharing it on Facebook, Google+, and everybody else, not only with people, because I have a habit of doing these videos, of also dropping some knowledge and education as I go, to give you nuggets and information of things you need to know, you should have known, that has been withheld from you. But I'm for this family. I really, truly am. If there's ever a time for a riot or a standoff, this would be one right here. It's a sad situation. What a sad day it is to be an American and call yourself an American in this country. This is a communist, fascist, socialist country. And it won't be too long that the military is going to be goose stepping.